When you think about the riskiest part of flying, what comes to mind? Probably turbulence at 30,000 feet, right? Well, what if I told you one of the most dangerous parts of your whole trip happens before the plane even leaves the gate? You've probably done this 100 times. You get settled in your seat, you're buckling up, and you look out the window at that beehive of activity on the tarmac. You've got baggage carts zipping around, fuel trucks getting into position, all those people in high-vis jackets basically orchestrating this controlled chaos. It looks like a perfectly timed dance, but inside that dance, that's where some of the biggest risks are hiding. What you're seeing is officially called an aircraft turnaround. And according to the people who track this stuff, it's a phase of the operation where, and I'm quoting here, a significant number of serious accidents occur. Yeah, it's a high-pressure, high-stakes situation that has to go right to get you on your way. So why is it so risky? Well, it pretty much boils down to one thing: a race against the clock. Airlines have to turn these planes around incredibly fast to stay on schedule. I mean, for some short-haul flights, that entire process can be as quick as 30 minutes. That's an insane amount of pressure on the people on the ground. And just look at everything that's happening all at once. While you're getting on the plane, crews are simultaneously getting the last passengers off, they're unloading and loading all the luggage, they're refueling the aircraft, restocking the food, doing maintenance checks, cleaning, and if it's cold, they might even be de-icing the wings. It's this incredibly complex ballet where even one tiny misstep can cause a huge problem. And here's the real kicker. It's almost never just one company doing all of this. You've got the airline's own staff, sure, but also the airport operator, a separate catering company, a different fuel provider, outside maintenance contractors. All of them are working in the same tiny space, under that same crazy time pressure. Imagine the refueling team not talking to the baggage handlers. The potential for something to go wrong is, well, it's huge. And coordinating all that is a massive, massive challenge. Okay, now that we kind of get the complexity of the whole scene, let's zoom in on one of the most obvious and, frankly, terrifying dangers out there: a running jet engine. This isn't a friendly suggestion. This comes directly from official safety guidance, and it is an absolute non-negotiable rule on the airfield. The power of a modern jet engine is just astronomical. The intake can literally suck a person in from several feet away, and the exhaust blast is hot enough to melt the tarmac. This rule exists for a very, very good reason. So there's a super simple visual cue for this. You know those flashing red lights on the top and bottom of the plane? Those are the anti-collision lights. On the ground, they serve as a clear and universal warning. The engines are on, or they're about to start. For every single person on the ground crew, that signal means one thing: stay away, do not approach. So, with all this chaos and all this potential for disaster, how do they actually keep people safe? Is it just dumb luck? No, not at all. There is a mandatory framework, a set of ground rules that everyone has to play by. And this right here is the absolute core of it. Remember all those different companies working in the same spot? Well, it's not enough for them to just look out for their own people. The rules say they have to assess the risks their work creates for everybody else on the tarmac. This forces them to cooperate and coordinate everything they do, creating a shared responsibility for safety that's being watched and monitored the entire time. Okay, but does this whole structured, cooperative approach actually work? You bet it does. And we've got a perfect real-world example to prove it. Let's talk about Air Canada. They were facing the same challenges as every other airline, a busy, complex ground operation with a lot of moving parts. So they decided to tackle the problem head-on and created a really structured, step-by-step plan for every single turnaround. And the results were just fantastic. By putting this formal process in place, with a huge emphasis on that coordinated safety approach we just talked about, Air Canada saw a significant drop in accidents. It's a case study that's now held up as a model for how to improve ground safety. It is definitive proof that these systems, when you actually use them, really do work. They save people from getting hurt. So, after all this, what's the big takeaway? For me, it's all about appreciating this incredible, invisible system that's at work every single time you fly. Your safety as a passenger doesn't just begin at takeoff. It starts way before that, on the ground, with this complex, highly choreographed dance. It's all built on an invisible culture where dozens of people from a bunch of different companies have to trust each other and work together perfectly to manage enormous risks, all to make sure your plane is safe and ready to fly. It really makes you think, doesn't it? The next time you're sitting on a plane looking out that window, you won't just see a bunch of carts and people. You'll see the system. And it kind of begs a bigger question. what other parts of our daily lives, from the power grid that keeps our lights on to the supply chains that bring food to our stores, depend on the same level of intense, unseen coordination just to keep us all safe?